Today I will be working on the MX2, my racing lawnmower I built in a month on a budget. Let me go through what I need to do. Sometimes the engine has a hard time starting and gets stuck in RPM, and the brakes do absolutely nothing. The centrifugal clutch is toast. It constantly slips and grips at the same time. In this episode I will give this Murray a little bit of love, calculate the perfect gear ratio, followed by doing a pulley swap. I will also show you 2 ways of calculating the gear ratios of your pulleys and thereby your top speed. The racing mower is on the table, so let's remove both pulleys and then take it from there. To remove the belt, I have to undo the bolt. That will release the tension of the spring, and thereby I can remove the belt. I got the belt loose, so let's see. Yes, I could get it off. So let's remove the rear pulley. Typically, those are rusted on. However, I already removed it once, so it shouldn't be that bad. After loosening a few bolts and using this tool, I could pull it off. This is a pulley puller, and it doesn't cost a lot. If you remove a bunch of pulleys or you have one which is really stuck, try to attach it to some kind of impact gun, because that really will ride it loose, no matter how stuck it is. Why is it always when you start touching things that it gets a way bigger job? This is the input shaft. Looks alright, no? Yeah, I guess I have to take the gearbox apart. I removed 4 bolts, so now the gearbox is detached from the chassis. Put my phone holder. I already removed all the bolts. Remember, there will always be one right next to the shaft, right here in the middle. And this is actually, I'm not sure which purless this is, but it has a 1-inch output shaft, which is pretty cool. I never had this open. All I did was remove the fill plug and then added liquid oil instead of the grease. I guess there's a chain or something holding it all together. Yesterday I got distracted by a phone call. I ended up cleaning the entire gearbox. Next up, I will try to find out this one. It comes from this hole here, and I'm pretty sure a C-clip is missing. Here's the graveyard of my previous gearboxes. So this one has a chunk missing. This one turned from a 5-speed to a 4.5 speed. So let's see, does this one fit? Yeah, I think I will just steal that C-clip and mount it here. I will focus on the input shaft first, since that's the part which is broken and I want to have it perfectly outlined. I did consider I could just weld the diff, but honestly for this lawnmower I don't want to go racing with it. I just want it to be a little fun machine, and I also want to be able to do normal things with it, and I don't always want to be sliding around. So actually having an open diff, it's completely fine, and I'm not gonna ruin this gearbox. What I will do, I already did, is I cleaned it all up. As you can see, it's squeaky clean. Then I will assemble the input shaft, make sure that is how it should be. Then I assemble all the rest, put it back together, and then add some oil. What I use in this case is some 80 V90, but with that, let's just get it assembled. This input shaft, of course, comes from here and goes through the ball bearing into the gearbox. Yeah, that fits nicely. No rattle, no nothing. What I recommend you do is, if you do any gearbox work, take it apart, but leave the bits inside. Then take tons of pictures, so you exactly know how to do it. Because even if you have done it a couple of times, you might not remember where things went, or where they came from, or was this washer first, or the other washer. So take pictures, then if you want to wash it, everything, take it apart one by one, lay it out in order, take pictures of it in case you move things, and also maybe count the gears, because then you can calculate the gear ratios. Otherwise, you can probably look it up online if you have the stamp somewhere, or I will show you some tricks later. So stay tuned for that. I will put it back together. As you can see, all the parts are clean and organized, more or less. Everything is here. It's fine that I took it apart because the calipers, they have a little bit of an edge. So I will show you how to get rid of that, how to put it back together, and then how to adjust it properly. To get rid of this edge, I will take some sandpaper, 100 grit in this case, Just carefully grind it down and check. You can still see it a little bit, but you can barely feel it. Then I will do an H shape. So I equally stress every side. Now it looks like this. Since I touched it with my fingers, I need to clean them with some brake clean afterwards to make sure there's no residue. And I'm gonna do the same with this one. So let me show you how I calculate the gear ratio. First off, the nerdy way, where we do some math, and later I show you how I would do it if I have to do it quickly in my head. Generally, you need to know how fast your engine spins. Typically, engines like this spins around 3600 RPM. So let's write that down, 3600. But if you remove the governor, it will be closer to 5000. Let's just say 4800. Then you're on the safer side. Sometimes you're around 5000, but you shouldn't get above 5000 for extended periods of time. So let's just say 4800. Next up, you need to find the ratio of the front pulley and the rear pulley. This is my old front pulley, and it says 17 centimeters. And I use this pulley over here as my rear, which is 15. Which means that we have to time this number, the RPM, by 17 divided with 15. That will give us the speed of how fast the rear pulley spins. 4800 times 17 divided with 15 is 5440. So next up we have to figure out how quickly the output shaft of the gearbox spins. Well, either you can look up in the manual the ratio of this gearbox in the different gears, or use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is actually not too bad for that. What else you can do is select the gear you want to know. I want to know 5th gear, that's the highest gear. And as you can see in my setup, I put 2 tapes here, and I have a piece of tape here with an arrow pointing to this in. And that is just so I have a rough reference. And I will make sure that those 2 are aligned. And then I will spin this top clockwise, so in the direction where the pulley usually goes. And for each time I spin it, I will make a mark, and I will do it until the rear axle made a full rotation. So let's just get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 and a half. This side of the gearbox spins with 5400 RPM. So let's calculate the outside, which is this number times 112.5, which is how fast the output shaft spins. Now we need the wheel size, which in my case is 0.58 meters in diameter, but I want the radius actually, so that is half. So let's calculate the circumference, which is 0.29 times 2 times P. So for each rotation of the wheel, the mower will move 1.8 meters. So now I can use that number and time it with our RPM, 435.2. 793. That is the rotations per minute, RPM, but I want it to be in kilometers an hour, so I can time that with 60 and divide it with 1000 to get from meters to kilometers, which will then result in 47.6 kilometers an hour. So that's a real way to calculate it. The other option is a little bit simpler. You basically need to know how fast it goes. Let's just say you just got a lawnmower, you didn't modify it yet. Typically they will go about 10 kilometers an hour, or roughly 6 miles per hour. Well, the front pulley, you decide to make double the size. That is a factor 2. The rear pulley, you decide to make half the size. That is also a factor 2. Then you decide to remove the governor. That will probably go from 3600 RPM to 4800 RPM. So that is a difference of 1.33. So 33% more. And if you sum it, then it's 10 times 2 times 2 times 1.3, which is 53.2. Or if it's miles per hour, you would go 6 miles per hour times 2 times 2 times 1.33. Which would lead you to 32 miles an hour. So you can see you don't need to go crazy in the rear pulley to have some fun. 32 miles or 50 kilometers an hour is actually a pretty good start. This is how it looks. The belt is on and both pulleys are attached. But of course, since it's smaller pulleys, the belt is loose. I also had to add a pulley right here, so I would clear the gear shift shaft. Otherwise the belt, if it was tight, would be touching. But now there's a little bit of space. But yeah, as expected, I will need a new belt. What I will do is pull it tight while the idler pulley is not pulled yet. And then I will use some zip ties to hold it in place. I will use a vice grip. Okay, so now I will double check if it's tight or not. It's not crazy tight, but that is okay because this spring is not under load yet. So I can actually pull it quite a bit and make it even more tight. I will zip tie it there, then take the belt off and then go to the shop tomorrow. I like to put multiple, just in case. I need to remove this to be able to remove the belt, and I also need to deattach the steering, so I will just do that. On that one, I made sure that I could just take the belt off. So it's quick and easy if I'm in the race duration and I have to do it quick. But this one, it was a quick belt, so I didn't go in that detail. Let's remove the pulley. That one didn't hurt at all. So I'm gonna lift it, and here we go. Belt is off, pulleys are on, gearbox is fixed, and new belt is coming. I got the new belt, so let's see if it fits. Belt is on, and I even double checked the carburetor. There were 2 bolts right here where the carburetor is attached. They were a bit loose, so everything is tightened up. So let's take this puppy for a spin and see how it goes. I'm gonna use the chest camera this time, so let's see if the angle is decent or not. So let's see if it even starts. Doesn't make any sound. That's great. Might be simply a dead battery. Let's measure on the starter motor and see if I have another broken starter motor. So if the starter motor doesn't get anything. Why is that? It's a safety switch, I forgot. I found out something. I turned the key. I used this starter thing. Hooked one to ground. And choke up. Starts well. Let's try first here. Another steering. C-clip is back on. Let's go for another ride in it. Even the brakes work. Let's just see how reverse feels. That works. So let's try the trailer now. Just to see if I actually can pull it or not. I have like the smallest trailer hitch. Might have the feeling that this one isn't even gonna get that low. Let's see if it can pull it. I'm actually not sure. The trailer weighs at like 800 kilos. So I really have to fix the starting issue. Might be the relay, but I have the feeling it's some kind of safety ground connection. I like this thing. This should be first. That's making a weird swing. I'm not going to be able to move my race trailer. I think the reason is that the lawnmower is so low that it basically gets lifted and doesn't get the traction. Maybe I can do something in the future. You can clearly see here, I unhitched it, the wheel's in the air, and basically the trailer doesn't put weight down but lifts the rear of the lawnmower up. I'm just digging holes because it's gravel and the rear is lighter than usual. So maybe I can make a different assembly, but the racing lawnmower is back and is working. I need to figure out why it doesn't start, but that's just minor things. I'm really happy that this project is back to being alive. It has a few hiccups, like it doesn't want to start with the key, but actually starting it, it starts really quick and well. So I think it is more a grounding issue, meaning that there's probably some safety switch I forgot about, which has to be in the right place, and that's why it doesn't want to start, because it doesn't say anything, it doesn't even click the relay. The other option would be the relay, but the relay worked a few days ago. So I need to have a look at that one. Additionally, I could probably change the carburetor. And I would actually like to be able to pull the trailer with it. So if I put the hitch further up, it would put more pressure on the lawnmower and maybe make it less likely to wheel spin. But with that, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, maybe you enjoyed the other video right here, where I did the original pulley swap to get it up in speed. I basically explained a bunch of things, but in that one you can also see how to remove the governor. It's a great machine. I know I made it slower, but for what I have planned, it's going to be much more usable, because if I want to go fast, I will go for my racing lawnmower, which can go over 80 kilometers an hour. Thank you so much for watching. Maybe consider subscribing. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.